Good morning. Good morning, everyone. All right, let's get this recorded as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, look. And we're right on time. So, what have you done so far today? Oh, well, I guess some of you, it's halfway through the day. So, so it's 9 a.m. here. And I feel like I've had a full day already. So I get up pretty early. But I'm contemplating getting up even earlier. I already get up at 6. I'm thinking, I'm going to get up at 5. There are a couple of mornings I get up at 4:30 to train. It's all different. So do you have a routine? Do you have a routine, or does it change from day to day? Just curious. It's not what I'm here to talk about. Just curious. I sort of mix mine up a little, depending on what a bit of both. Yeah, I mix mine up a little. Although at the moment I am doing a 40-day particular Kriya. And I was contemplating whether to share it with you and to do it with you. We'll see. We'll see. I've been doing it for about a week now. I've done it many times before. When I did the 2022, I think it was the 2022 or 2021 Spirit Whisperer series. I did a particular Kriya all the way through, so every morning, and that's the one where it exploded in a awesome way. Like it was, a different type of energy. So, what does it all mean? Why are we here? So I am keeping it short and sweet today. Hopefully everyone's on that needs to be on. We're doing about 20 minutes here live. If you've got questions, you can pop them in, and then we're going over to the Holistic Mystic, because I'm in my interview phase of Spirit Whisperer Series 6. Yeah, no, 5. 5. But I was literally just getting people for Series 6. So it's like boom, 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 boom. We are on a mission here. What's the mission? The mission is around unconditional love. We are, the passion and the movement towards building a relationship, a new relationship. Some of you may be a relationship, but you have a relationship because maybe you don't have any connection to the other aspects of yourself, right? So you're in relationship in the way of not being in relationship, right? You don't have a relationship. Started like this morning. Wordplay with, anyway, sometimes I go into that. So, all right, what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? No, I'm really asking, what are we talking about today? I think I put in the comment for the on-demand, sitting in your power. Sitting in your power. So I was talking to an awesome woman yesterday about being in power, being in your power. We don't carry on about being empowered. Some of you might, but what on earth does that even mean? What does it mean? We're not giving you power. You're not getting it from somewhere else. Are you accessing it from within yourself? Are you? It's a question. Or are you not? There's no shame or blame here. No shame or blame. What I'm about is creating a space where you can navigate and contemplate who and how you are in a safe place by being able to go, you know, this is my self-talk, or this is my behavior. And, you know, it could be viewed by yourself or others as maladaptive or disruptive, or, you know, something that you're not wanting. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. I'm like, get over this good, bad. It's just polarity. It's all you. I know some of you have already jumped off. And you know, if we look at those lives, they're possibly very chaotic, right? What's chaotic? What is chaotic? Did you take that as a negative statement, a bad statement, a statement that you wouldn't say, or a word like chaos? A lot of my artwork back in the day was about chaos, the beauty of it, how it births. Actually, look at this image. Some will say, oh, that's a cool image. Some will say, oh, that's a little scary, or he's walking into the chaos of the universe. Right? Some may say jazz music is chaotic, certain jazz. It's all sorts of types of jazz. But anyway, stay on point. So let's look at the point. Let's look at the point. Sitting in your power could be seen as coming back through all the chaos to the center of self, to the true self, the Satnam, the mindful awareness, the neutral mind, the neutrality, the peace. What are some of the words where those of you that have sat in that space, what are some of the words that come to mind that remind you of that experience? In the chat, some people have said, often people say peace. I've never described it as peace, but that's because of my meaning making, what peace means to me. So the words that you use, or the word that came to you around sitting in that, even if we say silence, if you hear silence, so it's going to do your heads in, it's going to do your little minds in. So we have to be out of that little mind, expand it into some of the minds, right? Because when I say we sit in the roaring sound of silence, what? What is she talking about? Right? I guess we're talking about meaning making today. What is your power? What is power? What is silence? What is peace? What are these words that you use? Where do they come from? Where do we get our meaning from? And can we shift or change our meaning? If you've ever studied with a teacher or a school of any type, whether it's a language school, a spiritual school, a mystic school, a mystery school, a university, a college, whatever, you would have noticed that how you speak shifts. The people you're around, even your accent, how you pronounce words. I had to change how I spoke slightly because most of you didn't understand me. I spoke too quick and with my heavy accents. Where does your belief come from? Where does your beliefs, plural, come from? What you believe. Is it from a religion? Is it from your parents, your culture, your country? Have you ever considered it as we speak, how that's received, how that's understood? Or misunderstood? How do you know? How do you know that you've been heard? How do you know that you've been understood? How do you know that the meaning you're making for the words that you're sending out are received in the way that was meant? Are you conscious? So, on that note, let's sit. Let's sit in the power. A little meditation. So it doesn't seem like anybody's answering me. That's cool. You can take it as a contemplation. For those of you that are fairly new, if you have a journal, and as we're saying certain things, just make points. Feel into it. What you feel, what you sense in your body, make a note of. It's not so much what I say, right? It's how you receive it. How you receive it. So if I'm speaking about something and you feel it in your body as a sensation, right? It's like you take a breath, or you expand, or you contract, or you get you might get chills, or you might get warm or cold. You might feel a lot of saliva coming up. Your eyes might water. It could be more of a sensation in the core. You could feel it in your feet, your hands, your brain. Just be curious. Curious. There's a stimulus here. There's a stimulus here. I'm being stimulated. Poor grammar. There's a stimulus And you could say a trigger. You could say an activation. You feel it. Your nervous system is doing its thing, starting the cascade of neurochemicals, hormones, impacts how your brain is working, how the impulses are sent through the nervous system to the organs and to the rest of the systems. And we are so magnificent that the majority of it we are unaware of. So when we become more conscious of the stimulus, what impacts us, and we take that gap, that pause, that peace, whether it's a pie piece or a P piece, P-I-E or P-A piece. Stimulus and response. So taking a piece of something that's coming up in your life, something that maybe is disrupting you or your world. This impulse, this stimulus creates a sensation, an energy, some voltage. And then meet it, sit with it, be in the gap between stimulus and response. Just aware. Where do you feel it? Where do you feel what's going on right now? If you're unsure of what even is going on, scan the body. Just notice from the head, internal, external, all the way through your vessel, your vehicle, all the way down through. Where is the tension? Where is the felt sense? Where is the stimulus, the sensation? And just bring your attention to it. Pause, the peace, the space between the spaces. Noticing being with this aspect of self, this part of your body, your system. noticing. And if there was a response, if there was an action, sorry guys, hope you didn't hear that. If there was a response, or an action, what that would be, and just notice. Does anything want to move? Has the sensation moved? Is there an image? Is there a shifting? Are you seeing yourself in a vision or a memory? And just see what's happening in the body. Going back to that sensation, that stimulus. Has it shifted? Is it wanting to shift? Has it moved to another space in the system? Just noticing. Noticing. Breathing. Notice the breath. Have you held your breath? Are you breathing deeply? Have you caught your breath at any time? Is it shallow? Have you felt constriction in the chest or the diaphragm? Be curious about the sensation again. Has it moved? What's happened? Where is it? Is it integrated? Is it giving you more information, more data? Is there something else that wants to be known? If there is, ask it. What's the message? Something you're wanting to tell me. If there was a message here, what would it be? If there was a movement that's needed, what would it be? If there's a belief around this sensation, what would that be? So wherever you are at, just see if one of those things is true for you in this moment. Just in this moment, what's right for you, what's true for you, what feels expressive to you of something that may not have been expressed. And just allow it. Just allow it. Just feel it. Entertain the possibility of embracing it. Even if it's just through the intention of just touching it. And some of you may want to fully embrace this aspect. Maybe that's what it needs. Big hug, big embrace, a loving, kind embrace. Others may not be ready or able. So start where you are. Whatever's going on for you in your system, merely the intention or the connection of knowing is enough for you. Just touching it with your knowing, with your attention and your intention. And accepting wherever you're at. Accepting this piece, this aspect, this tiny morsel of experience, or what piece of it you might be able to accept in this moment. It may not be the whole piece. It may not be that pain or that illness or that experience or that sensation, but it may be a piece. Accepting that you're where you are in your healing, in your recovery, in your evolution, in your development. Accepting where you are. Releasing the belief or the thought or the conditioning that it has to be a certain way. Releasing, relating, to eventually have a different relationship with the aspects that may be holding you in a space, a thought, a belief, a condition. So just feeling it, embracing it, having an acceptance where you are with that, to release, to relate, to rise. Shifting your relationship with fear. Just is. Just sitting with your fear right now. Just with it. Just with it. You're not fighting it. You're not trying to be out of it. You're not trying to stop it from happening. Just sitting with how you are in this moment. And in this moment, you are both fear and love. Love and fear creates unconditional love, where you're all of it, and none of it. The space between impulse and response, the stimulus and response. Okay. So it's coming to an end of your process. being with it in a way that is not so constrictive, being in a way that is allowing the processing of what needs to be processed, whatever that is for you. So for the going into the day, what you can take from that little experience, what piece can you take into your day? The knowing that when you feel something in your system, that you can just connect with it, connect with the discomfort, connect with the disease, connect with the belief that creates a cascade in the system, connecting. If that's all you do, right, you'll start to notice shifts over time in how you navigate the world, how you are in the world, how your energy moves, and how others receive you or don't receive you, still being received. Okay, let's take a breath. So just let me know in the chat what came up. We're going to move over to the mastermind in a moment. I'm just wondering what came up for people. Because sitting and not reflecting with consciousness will give you something, but if you bring in, okay, reflect. I felt this, and this is what happened, and this is what I can do, right? And just make a couple of points. How can you remember that space of Simran, that space of clarity, neutrality? You clearly see yourself and others. Okay. You're all rushing me at once. So many. All right. So wherever you're watching this from in the what do you call it? The post, you'll see some links. If you would like to join us for Holistic Mystic, the Inner Circle, you can still get in this month. So you can come. Hey, Vicky. So you can come in. I'm just finishing up, so I'm not sure if you've just come on. So you can come in. I believe it's still free, 2 days free. Check out the library. Now, the library is getting huge because we've been going for about 5-6 months. going on to our 6th month. And we started doing 4 days a week. We just started now doing 2 days because I'm creating the next Spirit Whisperer series. So I need some time to do the interviews, but the library is there. So what you're paying for really is the library. And the lives are where you can come and ask for mentoring, for little hints or shifts in how you're doing the process or what you're doing. And maybe it doesn't feel like it's working. If you're doing some sort of yoga, I remember I had a client about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. I've had a few yoga teachers come through and they're asking for more experiencing. And so just refining their practice, because just doing something, there's all sorts of different yoga traditions. Just doing it like it's an exercise, or just praying like it's words, or just, you know what I mean? Like the doing. Actually, one of the gurus said back in the day, he went to Mecca and he was watching all the people praying and doing their thing, and off to the side there was a place where you could pray, and he was just standing there watching a bunch of men praying, and he went up to them because he was a bit feisty, and he said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "We're praying." He said, "No, you're not. You're thinking about your cows, you're thinking about your daughter's wedding, you're thinking about that," because he could hear their thoughts. He could hear what they were doing. They were going through the actions. How many of you go through the action? But there's no reverence. There's no reverence. Empty ritual is just doing. That's why I'm, yeah, okay. All right, I hear you. When we're starting out, we do say, okay, we're going to do something for a certain amount of time, or this is now our practice. Yes, if you're starting out, talk to me about a practice. If you're further along, it's not necessarily what you're doing, it's how. Are you in your power? Washing the dishes? Do you bring your attention to the lower, the wisdom point just below the navel? Well, the wisdom point's above, but the lower dantian, right? Do you bring it to that center as you're working, as you're speaking, as you're listening here? Do you notice your feet? Do you notice your bottom? Do you notice what your hands are doing? Are you conscious of yourself? Yourself? Are you conscious of the self? And when we bring those together, a supreme intelligence. So the reverence, right? If I sit down to do a process and I have a lot going on, a lot coming in, I just know I'm not in that point. It rarely happens, but it sometimes does. If I can't Say, Divine Mother, Divine Father, Supreme Consciousness, my beloved, the beloved. That doesn't happen. I know that I'm swirling in something else. Okay, now that takes practice. But when you have that relationship with yourself, you can have that relationship with the self, divine intuition, unconditional love, right? And at any moment when you're doing, you can just touch in until you are it. You are. You're are-ing that in the world. So there are different levels here. And actually, it could be something that we could go into. So those of you that would like to join us in the inner circle, there is a link wherever you're watching it for Holistic Mystic Mastermind. That is our inner circle. It's $30 a month. There is a copious amounts of teachings and resources in the library that you have access to. If you're advanced or if you're a beginner, but come on and ask me questions. If you're struggling in life, ask me. If you want to sit in grace in that healing space, ask. And we can do it as a group. How to bring the reverence into your life. So you're not doing, you're not even being, you're are-ing. You're doing, being to are-ing. It takes practice, right? But it's easy to get from doing to being. And being in that neutrality. The R-ing takes a little more refinement, right? It's more advanced practice, way of being. Now, what are other? So Relevate is a program that we do twice a month on a Friday, where I take you through processes for your relational injury, trauma, stress, shock, those sorts of things. Building a relationship or shifting the relationship that you have with yourself, with your fear, with your fear of fear, with your fear of love. So it's a little more in depth. So if you're wanting to join us in that, so both of these programs are going up in July. So we've had the lower price for people to jump in. If you come in at that lower price, you'll stay at that lower price, right? But once it goes up, it goes up. And very soon we'll have the link for Spirit Whisperer Series 5, which has some extra special things in there this year. Extra special. All right, so if you're struggling with your life at the moment and you can't afford a one-to-one session with somebody, come into one of those programs I just mentioned. Right? You can either sit in your misery or you can reach out, start to reach out If you have difficulty, just say, I need some help. Like, I don't know how, I can't help you. And this is the thing, I help people who can't reach out because they're frozen. They get frozen. So how can you get yourself to feel safe enough to get the help that you might need? To see where you're being stuck, blocked, where that barrier to those cycles are coming in, right? So if nothing else, come to our lives here and just ask questions in the chat or comment in the chat. Build a relationship with me in the chat. Build that connection. We cannot heal in isolation. What heals, particularly trauma, is relationship. What I specialize in is relationship or relational injury, which means anything to do with human beings. It's not about talking about it. It's about experiencing it through your systems. So feeling into that space where you can start to heal, start to build that relationship with yourself. And that can be difficult. Create a safe space for you. How do you get from that to the reference? Right? The more you have that with yourself, the more you can have it for others. Meaning the beloved, unconditional love, the no thingness, something greater than yourself. As you are, the world shall be. So your connection with yourself is a starting point. And you can go as slow as you need. So if you're listening, watching, whatever you did today was whatever you did today. So that's great. So let's bow out for today and we'll go over to the inner circle. And I'll see you on Thursday. So may the blessings be. So those of you that are on the Holistic Mystic, come over to the Zoom link and we'll continue